So today we're going to talk about why I personally chose the British accent over the American one, and don't click away if you're still not sure which one to pick for yourself, because I'll also walk you through when it matters, which one might suit you better, the pros and cons of each, and practical tips to actually master the accent you want. But let's start with my story, because I think it will make everything else connect better. So I started learning English when I was around 6 years old in school, but honestly it wasn't serious. It was like the usual, this is apple, this is pen kind of thing. But the real turning point came when I was about 13 years old. That's when I started going to proper English classes. And this is important because at that age, your ears are still so sharp. You start to notice not just the words, but the music of the language, the rhythm, the melody, the accent. So I remember listening to both American and British accents over and over, like films, songs, teachers, even the recordings we had in class. And somehow the British one just clicked with me. It sounded richer, it sounded more elegant, more posh if you will. And here's something funny. The tool that shaped me the most wasn't YouTube or Netflix. It was Oxford Bookworms. These little storybooks that go from starter to level 6, I think. So I used to listen to each book multiple times without even looking at the writing of the book, just listening over and over again. And by doing that, I was basically training my ear. I was letting the accent sink in naturally without forcing it. So that's how I started to pick up not just the English, but specifically British English. So why British? Let me be honest here. American English is everywhere. It's in Hollywood films, it's in pop songs, it's in TV shows. So if you're exposed to the internet, you're exposed to American English by default. But the British accent, it has a completely different feel. For me, it sounded elegant, structured, precise. So there was a sense of clarity in how words were pronounced. Even everyday conversations sounded elevated. Also, culturally, Britain has this long history of literature, theatre, and formality in the language. Shakespeare, Jane Austen, BBC News readers, and as a teenager, that felt very aspirational to me. I wanted my English to sound classy, professional, something that could open doors. So while a lot of my friends leaned into American movies and music, I started choosing British shows, British podcasts, British audiobooks. That's how I reinforced what I wanted. Okay, let's get practical for you. You might be wondering, does it even matter which accent to pick? So the short answer is, it depends. So if you're just starting out, the most important thing is clarity. People need to understand you. Don't obsess over accent too early. Work on vocabulary, grammar, and confidence first. But once you've got a foundation, accent does start to matter. It can affect how professional you sound, for example, in job interviews or presentations. How confident you feel, because let's be real, sounding good in a language boosts your confidence. How you're perceived socially. Accents carry stereotypes for better or worse. So the choice of accent isn't about right or wrong. It's about what fits your goals, your lifestyle, and your exposure. Okay, pros and cons of British accent. I'm going to walk you through each one. So pros of British accent, it sounds elegant, professional, and educated to many ears. Great if you're working in Europe, the UK, or international organizations. It also opens you up to appreciating British culture, media, and humor. Often clearer pronunciation compared to some regional American accents. But the cons of British accent are, it's harder to master because it's less global. Fewer people around you might speak it. Brits have many regional accents. Cockney, Scouse, Geordie, Scottish. So what even is the British accent? Usually people mean RP, which is received pronunciation, and that's usually the posh one. So sometimes it can sound too formal in casual settings. Okay, pros and cons of American accent. Pros of American accent is much more global exposure. Hollywood, Netflix, pop music, it's easier to find resources and mimic their opportunities. Sounds approachable, friendly, casual. Useful if you plan to study, live, or work in the US. Okay, cons of American accent. It can be harder for some non-native learners to pronounce because of the R sounds, R. Some regional American accents are really strong, which can be confusing. In some professional settings, it might sound too informal compared to the British accent. Think about your environment. If you're moving to the UK, learning British English will help you blend in faster. Same goes for the US, so think about your goals. Want to work in international business, academia, or diplomacy? British English often has that formal edge. But if you want to work in tech, creative industries, or media, American might feel more natural. So think about what inspires you. Which culture do you connect with more? So which accents feel nice to your ears? Don't underestimate this. The accent you like is the one you'll actually practice. Okay, how to improve the accent that you choose? Okay, let's get practical. Here are the tips for whichever accent you go for. Shadowing method. Listen to a short clip of a native speaker and repeat it out loud, imitating not just the words but the rhythm, tone, and pauses. Second tip, audiobooks and subtitles. So pick a book you like and listen while reading along. I started with Oxford Bookworms. You can do the same with anything. So the third tip is to record yourself. This is really important. So you think you sound good until you hear yourself back. So record yourself, listen to it, and then adjust. Fourth, immerse in media. For British, BBC podcasts, UK YouTubers, British TV shows. For American one, Netflix, American podcasts, late night shows. So tip number 5, learn the music of the accent. It's not just pronunciation, it's intonation. So Brits go up and down in melody differently than Americans. Americans stretch vowels differently. Sixth, practice everyday words. Words like water, tomato, schedule, garage, privacy, advertisement. Master this and your accent will instantly sound more natural. So let's get back to my story. For me, once I realized I liked British English better, I committed. I stopped mixing and started focusing only on British resources. I even made it a game. If I caught myself saying water in the American way, I'd correct it immediately. And little by little, it became natural. Now, years later, people sometimes think I grew up with the accent, but I didn't. It was all practice, exposure, and choice. So, do you have to pick one? Not really. But if you want to sound polished and consistent, choosing one accent to focus on will make your life easier. So for me, British English felt right. It gave me confidence, it matched the culture I loved, and it helped me sound professional. For you, it might be American or even a mix, and that's fine too. But whatever you choose, the key is consistency and practice. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. This was a longer, more personal video than the shorts usually post every day, but I hope it gave you both perspective and practical tools. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments, are you Team British or Team American, and why? I'd love to hear your stories too. And of course, please do subscribe if you want more videos like this on accents, English learning, and personal growth. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.